Hello, good evening, and welcome to another day, another time for us to talk Manchester United live. My name is Webb. This is the hotspot, and yeah, well, it's an exciting day as news is coming through that Paul Pogba too could be on. We will be talking about that, but also welcoming back the beautiful game of football that just returns now after a long period of lull, layoff, no football. One of the most boring times in my life is being there without watching football, more so Manchester United in action. But we also get to talk about the news, the updates that continue to come through concerning the players Manchester United are linked to. It looks likely, highly likely, that Onana and Amrabat will be Man United players when the season starts. Welcome to the hotspot. My name is Webb. Subscribe, guys, if you haven't. If you have, amazing stuff. You're a legend, an absolute huge legend. But let's get into it now. Uh, Juventus have put their man Paul Pogba up for sale, and he's priced at about 10 million pounds. Now, the moment this report came out, everyone was up in arms saying, "Oh my goodness, Paul Pogba too could be back, could be happening. Paul Pogba too, which would then be three at United because he has been at United twice now." That would be interesting in all fronts. Whichever way you look at it, I think that would be an interesting scenario. And I do want to pick your opinion about whether you think Paul Pogba should be returning, it should even be a subject to debate or conversation that Pogba should return to United, because 10 million pounds is what Juventus want, and that's certainly pocket change. That's little money for United, more so at a time like this when you need players and you don't have money. What's 10 million? And Paul Pogba has proved that he can be world class before. I've been talking about him here when he was at United post Sir Alex Ferguson. He was one of the few players who were trying to perform. But if you think about since the time he went back to Juventus, I think he has been laid off for the most part because of injuries. I do think injuries have curtailed him. There is no way he would slide back into the starting team. I think the game has changed a lot for him now. That without being fully fit, it's impossible for him to come out and compete in the Italian Serie A. So that's why Juventus are thinking now they should let go of him. And surprisingly, the only other possible destination besides Saudi Arabia, where he has been, by the way, is United, according to many. Now, Paul Pogba is there. So, again, I'm putting it to you now. Should Pogba return? Now, there are many possible ways he can return to Man United for those who would want to see him back. I hope there is anyone who would want to see him back, because I'm obviously not one of those, because I don't believe in his character, and I think he will disorganize what Eric Ten Hag is building. Ten Hag is clearly cleaning the house at United. You don't clean and bring back one of the dirtiest players perhaps you've had, because he was a clear disorganizer when he was there. But if it's on the merit of him being cheap and being world class and proven before, then perhaps maybe you can, you would have a case to say you should be returning. But you think about it and the many ways he could come back, because you do remember that United did today, earlier on today, Eric Ten Hag confirmed the team that is going to be playing the preseason game against Leeds United tomorrow. And by the way, we are going to be here and watching that game together. So you should be turn on your notification, because you need to be part of that watch along when that game does happen at 6 p.m. But here's the thing. Paul Pogba is cheap. 10 million pounds for Paul Pogba, I think, is pocket change. I think it's little money, but that shows you how poor even Juventus value him. How the mighty fall. A classic example of how the mighty fall. From a player who was bought, I think, for about 80 million when he was returning to United, to now being available for 10 million at a time when teams in Saudi can pay for any player crazy amount of money, huge sums of money. You're thinking, this shows you just how bad he is. So for that reason alone, I don't think it even makes sense for United to be thinking about him, because if you're Manchester United, you want the best players if you're going to come out and compete with Manchester City. So for me, I think paying that 10 million, however little it feels, that's money you can pick. United can pick from, I think it's petty cash at Old Trafford. I think we don't need to spend that on Paul Pogba. There's also, of course, another school of thought that if we don't want to spend on him, we can get him on loan and offer a player like Donny van de Beek. Remember, van de Beek was left out of Eric Ten Hag's squad that's going to be playing that game tomorrow, and he said it's because he's training alone and trying to recover from injury. But we've seen him training with other players. Since they returned, he was one of the players who returned first. He looked to be okay. So I don't exactly buy the story that he's training alone because he's not fit. I feel like he's training alone because he's going to leave, because he's leaving, and perhaps his departure is more imminent than we thought or would expect. But that said, there's that also that possibility of getting Pogba by loaning Donny van de Beek to Juventus, and I think Juventus would be interested in Donny van de Beek, and I feel it would be a good loan move for him. Italy, I think, would be a good loan move for a player like Van de Beek to go and try and recover his form, or even if he went there on a permanent, it would make sense for him because again, I think Van de Beek's issue is beyond loaning. He should be sold, not loaned out. But so that's the situation. That there is a conversation saying that Paul Pogba could return, and by the way, you never know. Given the circumstances United is in, it can actually go on, and and drag on. But I feel like we should, I think, just ditch it right away. It shouldn't be coming out to, I think, take our time. I think it's not wise. It wouldn't be a wise decision for Paul Pogba to return. I mean, if you're buying the best world class players, you don't want to disorganize them with a player who has got a bigger name than anyone around him, but can barely play football. Yet he has got a lot of influence as a player because he's that big a brand and quite a character. So I think that would be a proper disorganizer, and that's why I think it shouldn't be something we even think about as United. But the good news, of course, for United is that, the reports we do now get, again, like Fabrizio Romano said, United will be finalizing the deal for Onana, latest by Thursday this week. And I'm going to talk briefly about how I feel United will look and how competitive we could be when we sign most of the players we are pointing at, because I actually believe we could sign most of these players. I think the only player now we might not sign could be Axel Disasi because of the update we got concerning the two centre-back first priority options, that is Lisandro Martinez and Rafael Varane, because they are both available in the team that is going to be playing against Leeds tomorrow. If they start the game and they look fit, because they both were, they both last played on the same day, that game on the 13th of April against Sevilla, so they have been off for the same period of time. They are returning at the same time. So if they are fully fit, they are obviously, I think they could be the best central defense partnership in the Premier League when they are fully fit. So if they are fully fit and we start the season with them, then Axel Disasi will obviously drop off. He ceases to be a priority for Eric Ten Hag, because if you don't have money and you've got so many areas to sort, why spend on a department where you've got two world-class players, defenders or World Cup winners who are fit, instead of first clearing other areas where you're more handicapped, like the backup for Casemiro. And that's why I think Amrabat might actually come in. He might not be one of the first players we sign one of the next players we sign, but he could actually be one of those late signings, like we always do, because United is known for signing players late in the window. So I feel like it could be a good, and again, I also feel like sooner rather than later, we could be able to sell a player or two. And that again will have a huge impact on whether we'll proceed and bid for Sofian Amrabat, who is believed to have agreed personal terms with United and excited. But of course, all the players we are linked with are rumored to have agreed personal terms with us. But like I keep saying, it's not the most difficult thing to agree personal terms with Man United, considering how we structure our terms and how generous we are with our money at times. You don't think it's difficult to agree personal terms. I don't know how I forgot to go live now this time on TikTok. I was meant to be live on TikTok as well for the first minutes, but anyhow, let's stick with those of you who are here on YouTube. Those who are not, I think will join the conversation tomorrow. But yeah, so Prince Odion is here. He's saying to me, Pogba, we better, Prince Odion is saying to me, Pogba, we're better than one Beek. At least Casemiro we have backup. I think what he's trying to say is to have Pogba. Is he saying Pogba is better than Van der Beek? I don't get this. Prince Odion, I think rephrase your statement. It's confusing. To me, Pogba would be better than I think you're saying he would be better than Van der Beek. So actually, you see, there is someone who thinks Pogba can actually return, and I want to pick your opinion on this because, like I said, Pogba has got such a huge character. I think he's one of the biggest brands of footballers, of course, save for Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, of course, who are obviously way ahead of the rest. You feel he has been one of the best, the biggest brands of footballers in recent times. Now, obviously, that's power. He's a star for whichever reason. Certainly, he was a when he's good, he's good. He's a world class player, but his character and the fact that he's such a star means he's got a lot of influence as a player. Now, do you need such a player who is going to come with that kind of influence, yet he doesn't have the football anymore? Because he has not been playing at Juventus for a long time. So if Juventus could actually, in this day and age, if Manchester United, think about it, guys. Manchester United value Harry Maguire at 50 million pounds, and Juventus value Paul Pogba at 10 million pounds. Think about it. That should tell you just how poor he is. They don't value him at all. Simply that's what they mean. So you cannot be saying such a player would fit into a Man United trying to compete with Man City for titles. So for me, I think him returning to United shouldn't be an option, not in the state he's in. Obviously, he is out of sorts. I think whereas we could be desperate to sign players, I don't think we are that desperate to bring a reject from Juventus. I feel like the only player we wanted from Juventus was Rabiot, for whichever reason the boss has. But if we couldn't get Rabiot even for free, to move for free, we can't be paying 10 million pounds for Paul Pogba. It can't happen. I think that would be again poor business, bad decision. Prince Odion, for me, again, I respect your opinion, but I totally disagree. I don't think Pogba would make sense beyond even the football. Maybe he can give us more minutes, and there is no guarantee about that. Maybe he could give us or not, maybe or maybe not. He could give more minutes than Donny van de Beek, but you look beyond just the minutes he can give. I think you're thinking what's the best he can give us, because Pogba is only good when he's world class. When he's not, he's, I think, the most annoying player you can see on the pitch, and he's certainly, his best is way behind him. So I feel like we cannot be looking to compete, to improve from the third position we are in last season, and we're trying to improve to a second or perhaps first, which would be a surprise. And I think first should not be a realistic target yet. But we cannot be looking to improve as United and we bring in Paul Pogba at whichever cost. It doesn't make sense. Oneni Colini, hi bro, tell me more about Onana. I think, yes, I'll talk about Onana in a bit. And of course, there is not so much, surprise. But, let me even get into the Onana conversation, because I don't even want to dwell a lot on Pogba, but because I honestly don't think it would make sense for us to resign him. But you spoke of Onana. So Onana, I think the deal is on. I think it's a question of when. I've been saying. I mean, if the difference is 6 million pounds, I think it would be shocking if United fail to beat that. I think then that would be a sign of a club almost at the brink of bankruptcy. If we can't afford to top up 6 million pounds to sign Andre Onana, then we are probably at the brink of, it's worse than we know. But I think it's going to happen. I think he will be the next player we confirm. By Thursday, I think Andre Onana will be done and confirmed without a doubt. Even tomorrow, it could happen because we are, again, the talks are going on. United trying to, play the long game and stuff, because they know Inter Milan are desperate for money as well. But I think Inter can hold out if they really know what the value of the player they have. They can hold out and squeeze, because United has no other option. Now, in the event that United fails to sign Onana because of a 6 million pounds, which goalkeeper will they go back to De Gea and tell him to come back after him bidding his farewells and leaving in that disrespectful manner? Which goalkeeper will they go for then? I think Onana is done. It's a matter of time. The personal terms were agreed. The club also informed him about this and told him to prepare. So he's ready to actually go and join the preseason tour in the US, and I think he will be there. So for me, I have no doubt about that. So, but I've been thinking out, and it was quite. I had an interesting thought. I was thinking. So you spend all this money to reorganize your team. You lose the best goalkeeper in the Premier League in David De Gea. You spend 50 million quid on Andre Onana. You have fit centre backs, world class World Cup winners in your team. and you spend 55 million on Mason Mount. You buy a striker, Rasmus Højlund. You do all this, and you still maintain Harry Maguire as the captain of your team. I think that would be. I don't know. I don't even think those players would let that happen. And this is why I think the news we had of Maguire being stripped of captaincy is one sign that it's something that showed me how serious Ten Hag is and how intent he is about cleaning the club. Because think about it, we all know how and I was imagining a situation where we are playing a game against Manchester City, and we know Onana is another footballer. He's a sweeping goalkeeper, like you would refer to him. So you have your sweeping goalkeeper in Andre Onana playing like another defender outside his box, pressing, passing the ball around to his backline, and the nearest person to him in the back in defense is Harry Maguire. You're playing a Man City with Erling Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, name them. I feel like that would be suicidal, because I think at the very worst, Maguire could even hide away from the ball. I think Onana would pass Onana loves to pass the ball around to his defenders. He wants to be involved in play. I imagine a scenario where Onana passes the ball to Harry Maguire when Erling Haaland is behind him, and he just goes, no, you can't give me the ball. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to expose me? Eh? You're trying to expose me, innit? Eh? You're trying to expose me, innit? Innit? You can't do that. Pass the ball to Wan-Bissaka. Pass it to Wan-Bissaka. Don't you see him? And then Onana will go. But he was the captain with his French accent. He was the captain. He was the captain of the team. I should be. This is how I play. He was the captain. Gets the ball. God, it can't happen. It doesn't make sense. You don't buy a world-class goalkeeper and let him play with the worst defender there is in European football. I think for me, and people have been asking about Harry Maguire and whether he will leave or not. I feel like even if it means United paying £10 million, I think United would rather pay the £10 million to let go of Harry Maguire than paying it to bring Paul Pogba. I think they would rather spend it, because a certain clause in his contract says United would have to pay him if we return to the Champions League, but they wanted to get rid of him. They would have to pay him £10 million. They would rather pay him that money to leave than paying 10 million to bring Paul Pogba. For me, that's my honest opinion. I think the best transfer business United should do in this summer, after signing a striker, is letting go of Harry Maguire for at whichever cost, even if he goes for free. But here we are hearing that they are valuing him at £50 million, and you're thinking, no, like Anolin Aliguma has put it. He's saying, no. Pogba will disorganize the dressing room. Exactly. Oneni Colin is saying, but why bring Pogba back? Because he's cheap and he's available, and United doesn't have money. He's 10 million. He's being valued at 10 million. Really. What do you do? What do you do if you're United? You can think about it. I hope Erik Ten Hag doesn't have a thought, to be honest. But he could have it, because, you never know, because he has still got some years, perhaps. But Anolin Aliguma, on the other hand, I think Erik Ten Hag would improve Pogba. Can Pogba be improved? I feel like Pogba's best is way behind him. I feel like there is nothing more for Paul Pogba to do. There is nothing more for him to... I feel like his best is behind him, to be honest. I don't see him improving in any way. I don't see that happen. And I'm trying to picture how and why, what motivation would he have to improve. You see, a player like Harry Maguire might have the motivation to improve because he wants to be around when we return to the Champions League and earn that money. That was he's obliged to under his contract. I don't think Pierre Luala is saying instead of Pogba, we retain Fred. He's more committed, and I think for me that would be a better option. If we had to retain, should it be an option? I don't even want to use the word option, because Fred should leave as well. We need money to buy more serious players like Amrabat, and I think Fred's departure is what is delaying the confirmation of Amrabat, because we need to collect some money. But the beauty is, if Donny van de Beek has not been in the squad, Of course, they claim he's injured. Obviously, I don't think it's because of injury. Because he trained with the rest of the team. I think he's actually not. He must have recovered. Then also Dean Henderson. So those are two players who could give us about a cool 40 million. Now 40 million is more than enough for us to land Sofiane Amrabat. That's why I'm saying Amrabat could join, but later on in the window, when we have sold one or two players, then we've got the funds to sign him. I don't see Ten Hag not making the right decision of signing a backup for Casemiro. So Amrabat is still, for me, a huge possibility. Instead of Pogba, we bring Amrabat. Of course, if Pogba is valued at 10 million, Amrabat is about 30 million euros. So there is a bit of a difference there. Not a huge one, but it's there. So if it's money that we don't want, but also one can say, anyway, no, I won't say what I was going to say. I will leave it. But yeah, Pogba back. I don't think Pogba back too. I would really trend. I don't think he would sell shirts the way he did when he returned the first time. I don't think. I'm not for the option. I'm not for the option, in all honesty. So yeah, in terms of course the news, and tomorrow of course I'll talk a bit more about the return of football. Guys, I do remind you we'll have a watch along, a live watch along of that game at 6 p.m. tomorrow between Man United and Leeds United. We'll be watching that one. But yeah, you think about the United squad and how it might look, and I don't think I even need a lot to display the squad that was named by Ten Hag for that game. But because really most of the players here are just making the numbers, but I think there are only a few serious players to think about there. That is Rafael Varane and Lisandro Martinez and Juan Bissaka. Of course, you like the fact that they are both back on the same day, the start of the season. They are back and fit. Of course, the rest of the other players who played in the international break will be returning within the week. That is the second week of this month, which is this one. So they will be returning soon at Carrington. They are expected to return soon. So they will be there to join the tour of the US. The forwards, it may be Jadon Sancho, but he's also wanted out. I hope we can get someone who can give us some reasonable money for Sancho, because then we could raise a significant figure. If you add on Fred, who we could price out for 15 or 20 million, and then you have Dean Henderson, that's about 20 million from Nottingham Forest, who seriously want him. You're thinking if we get a cool 80, Sancho can get us 40. If we get 80 million quid, I think this summer would turn around like this, and Man City would be pressed for a hot season. But yeah, guys, again, Pogba's issue. Edeku Chris saying, not Pombo again. Edeku doesn't even want to hear it. Hello, thank you for the updates, Edeku Chris. Again, thank you, Edeku. Anoline Webb, tell me why aren't clubs not talking about okay, that guy, man, I hate to pronounce that guy's name. It's so difficult. It's so difficult to pronounce, by the way, to be honest. And let me even take time before I pronounce it. But I see your question. Analine Aliguma is asking, Web, tell me why aren't clubs talking about Kavashela? Okay, but that's not the spelling. But it's such a difficult name to pronounce. I hope he doesn't join United, by the way. I would struggle. Why have players who would give us trouble? All the best players United has had, all our best performers have had easy names to pronounce. Cristiano Ronaldo, name them. Wayne Rooney, Cristiano Ronaldo, Eric Cantona, Paul Scholes. These are names we can find, but we don't. These complicated names do not shine at United. But yeah, the Napoli right winger, he's saying Vi. We were linked with him. I think the other name is Vi or Kavai. I want to pronounce people's names right, but this one I've struggled to get the right pronunciation, and not so many people have it. But Anoline is saying, he would be a good option as a right back, rather as a right winger. But yes, I think he's a good player. But I feel like, how much money, for example, do you think Napoli would want for him if we went ahead and bid for it, knowing that Aurelio De Laurentiis, that film director who owns Napoli, he's a difficult guy to negotiate with. I think it would be very he would be very expensive. Do we want to add another confusion onto us? Yet a winger, a right winger, is not exactly the biggest issue. We just bought Anthony Dos Santos for 75 million in the last summer. He needs time to be able to prove himself. We still have Jadon Sancho, whom we bought for what? How much do we buy Sancho? 73 million, a lot of money as well. So I don't think right now it would make sense for us to go into a conversation of signing a winger when we know the elephant in our room is a striker. Now we have a goalkeeper, who is about to sort. Luckily, we need maybe a backup for a central defender, but most importantly, the backup for Casemiro. So you don't think really, for me, I don't think right now at this point in time we should even be thinking about any other players from those who play the exact roles that United need immediate fixing. But I don't doubt that he's good. He's brilliant, but I don't think he's should be a priority now. So, but also, if he's that good anyway, he's good. But if he's that good, why aren't, again, like you're asking, why aren't teams fighting and trying to be? Why isn't there a bidding war for him? Perhaps it's because he's not good enough. Perhaps it's because he's not good enough. Prince Odion, sorry for my write-up. Please, it happens. But yeah, sorry for my write-up first. You don't have to be sorry, bro. This is I think a home. This is a home. It's not a perfection place. I was busy while typing. Don't explain yourself. I mean, Van de Beek is an injury player. That is why I rate Pogba over him. To me, he is far better than Van de Beek, but coming back is my issue. Listen, I think in the past year, I think Paul Pogba made Van de Beek look like the fittest player. I think Paul Pogba has been in the treatment room a lot more than Donny Van de Beek, probably. Paul Pogba has been injured for the most part, and I think for me, by the time Juventus comes out and say they are pricing him, they will take £10 million for him. For me, it shows you he's too bad. Remember, Juventus, when Paul Pogba was going back to Juventus from Man United, it was going back home, his second home. Perhaps it had become his first, because he was almost pushed out of United. You don't. By the time your own disown you like that, it shows there must be something bad about him. If it's not just his poor fitness, it could be his attitude. He was just in Saudi Arabia recently. His attitude is wanting. So for me, the whole package of Paul Pogba is one I don't trust. Yes, I liked him at some point at United, but I feel like his time at United is done. He will not give us any more value, quite frankly. So for me, I cannot even add my voice to that. I don't think he's even a better option than Van de Beek. I think they are one and the same. Maureen Kanini, where did you get the news from about Pogba? Because I have not heard of it. Well, here I am telling you about it. That there's a possibility that because he's available and he's cheap, and United is looking for players and doesn't have money, so there is a possibility that talk has been there. So we need to discuss it. Anolina Liguma Web, I think if we get Onana, teams are now going to change their approach and strategy while playing United. Of course they have to, because our press is going to change. The press is going to be higher because Onana initiates the press from behind. So meaning we are going to be pressing from high, playing sort of pressing with a higher line, and pushing the team back. If you remember the Inter final with Man City, the way they would push back even when they were attacking, that's why you see the kind of goal they scored is so non-Man City, shooting from a distance, because you don't want to pass the ball around close to Onana, because if he gets it, you're done. If it gets on his feet, you're done. One mistake, you're done. He's such a brilliant shot stopper, but he's so good with his feet. He's accurate with his pass. I think he has a record. The one game he played in the World Cup that ended, the last World Cup in Qatar, he played one game against Switzerland. He had 26 touches on the ball outside the box. That is the highest a goalkeeper has had ever since statistics started being recorded in football. That's a record. Ever since World Cup statistics started being recorded, that is the highest a goalkeeper has touched the ball outside the box. That's a record. But he played only one game and he was sent home. I also have issues about his attitude, to be honest. We might be here and focus on his playing, but his attitude can be questioned, because if you are banned for 9 months for taking your wife's medicine, he said later. He was banned for 12 months, but they were reduced after his appeal to 9 months. And so, no questions about his talent, clearly. But you're banned for that 9 months because of drugs, and then you return play. Of course, the best become the best goalkeeper in the world. You are signed for free by Inter, but you attract over 50 million for them. Great, makes a lot of sense. But the way he was kicked out of the World Cup by Rigobert Song, because of course I think he didn't agree with his tactics and stuff, and then he comes out and immediately retires. It shows you he's quite a character. But again, let's focus on his on his performance, but also let's be confident in the fact that he has played with under Erik ten Hag before, and they seem to enjoy each other. They had a good romance, I think. Um, okay, Tokzi A saying Erik ten Hag would never take Pogba simply because he's not disciplined. Exactly. He would follow Cristiano Ronaldo probably. Pierre Luala talk about taking over Man United. No, I won't. I don't think there is a lot to talk about the takeover. I think the Glazers have enjoyed a lot of our time. We've given them a lot of our time talking about them and playing to their, dancing to their tune. I think they can do what they want when they want. What we know is that they will sell the club, and the only one buyer will be Sheikh Jassim, because anyway he's the one with the money, and the Glazers are all about the money. Oneni Colini, now about the takeover saga. Well, guys want to hear about the takeover, but I feel like football is returning tomorrow. When's the last time you watched Man United play? When is the last time you got a chance to watch Man United play? We cannot be now, instead of bracing ourselves for return of football, we cannot be thinking about the Glazers and their greedy, selfish, ways. I think let's forget about them for a minute. Let's enjoy the preseason. It is starting tomorrow. We'll have a watch along here, enjoying that game together. Let's enjoy the preseason and forget about the Glazers for a minute. I'm begging of you, because right now everything to do with the takeover is controlled by the Glazers. The reports, the rumors, and what have you. I think there is nothing more. There is nothing more. There is no more rumors that you need to hear about the takeover. All you need to hear now is that Sheikh Jassim has been confirmed. That's the only statement we want to get. And trust me, the moment it's out, I will tell you before you even demand me to tell you. I will tell you. It will be the first thing on your notification if you turn it on. Edeko Chris, David was as well a weak point in our defense last season, though he made some good saves. I mean, David De Gea. Do I want to go back and talk about De Gea? I mean, he's a legend. I think let's respect De Gea. David De Gea, he's a legend, an absolute legend of the club. By the way, there was an update about another legend in between the sticks. That is Edwin van der Sar, who is fighting for his life in the ICU. His wife said he's a bit stable. He's still in the under intensive care, but he's a bit stable. It's not scary, so there is hope that he will be well. So I think that's good news. So I think that's good news for me. Let's pray for for Edwin van der Sar, for the real legend of Manchester United. But De Gea, I think let's leave De Gea to look for another club. I mean, the guy has served us for 12 years. We can't have him back. Let's focus on Onana. The new era of Onana is going to change. Erik ten Hag loves to play with his team pressing, typical Dutch manager. So let us, and Onana will be significant in that. So let's pray that at least things go right for us. We sign Onana, have our centre back first options, Lisandro Martinez and Rafael Varane, fully fit this time. Start the season and give us some good games. So I think it will be great. More on Rasmus Højlund. This is Onedi Colini. So Højlund wants to come to United. I think the bid is going to be made immediately after seeing Onana. The next then will be us bidding for Rasmus Højlund. If you do not, clubs don't bid for players. Guys, if you don't know, the issue of bidding for players, buying players is a very difficult process. I mean, think about it. And that's why up to now, I think Arsenal are yet to confirm Declan Rice. Yet they agreed with West Ham a long time ago. Buying a player is such a difficult thing, because first of all, these players are so expensive. As though you don't think buying something worth 80 million pounds is a 2 1 day thing. You understand? These players are valued a lot, highly valued. So we are talking of a player, for example, like Onana, who we want to buy for 51 million pounds. Now, 51 million pounds is the net worth of probably a player like maybe Wayne Rooney, maybe. Who are some of those star players we've had in the Premier League? Maybe Rooney could be higher, slightly higher than that, but it could be the net worth of Wayne Rooney. So imagine you have to pay the net worth of Wayne Rooney for a person or for anything. That is not a one-day event. That's why when clubs are bidding, they take their time. And for us fans, will be, putting them under pressure and what. But I mean, the details surrounding these players and their moves are so deep. That's why when you finally want a player and you get them, you celebrate. You see how Man United, they should have celebrated at Arlington when you finally got Mason Mount, because these are these are premium, properties. You're buying premium things. These are premium assets, because players are the assets of the club anyway. The Glazers put our players against as assets against the loans they were taking. So these players are so valuable that if you're going to get them, you've got to be careful. So the process is long. That's why these bids are taken one at a time. First bid for Mason Mount, get him, move on to the next. Now it's Onana. After we seal Onana by Thursday, the plan is to bid now for Erling Haaland. Why do I say Erling Haaland? I beg your pardon. Rasmus Højlund. And then, of course, after Højlund, again, that can take another couple of days. But then after that, we go to another Amrabat maybe, or whoever, if the money is available. So about Højlund, we know for a fact that United is interested. We are advanced in terms of signing him. We agreed personal terms with him. We will bid after finishing Onana. That will happen. And Olina Liguma waiting to see Ahmad. Why Greenwood is not part of the preseason? Well, he's not, because the bosses are still investigating. The Glazers, the commercial side of the club, are still investigating, and to see if he's really innocent, then he can proceed and return to the team. If he isn't, then they can't risk bringing him back. They are now the police of Manchester. Officially, they took over, I think, the work of the police of Manchester. Anyway, the Greenwood situation is also another annoying one. But I think he will be back because Ten Hag wants him. Waiting to see Ahmad. There is talk that Ahmad might be included in the loan, rather in the bid for Rasmus Højlund. That there could be plans to take him back, because I mean, we signed him for £30 million in 2019, which was a rip-off fee, and he has given us a lot of nothing. Does he have potential? Yes, but what has he delivered? Nothing. Is he a player who would bank on? I've not heard anyone talk about him as a core player who would come in and give us, something. So I really think if whether he goes on loan and we get Rasmus Højlund, I think it would be good business for United. I don't really, I cannot really dwell on Amad Diallo really that much. He has not really given us, but he's promising, he's talented. That's why they may not sell him, but loaning him, I think, is the best thing for him now. He's not one of our top priorities. Senoga Ramazan, good evening to you. Prince Odion, let's forget about takeover. We just need to pray for a change of United, because they don't want to sell and they don't want to spend. They are they are there for themselves. This makes some of us remember CR7. Yeah, if you listen to his interview, he said everything. He just came out there and and just poured out our dirty linen, and it was good. It was okay. It was okay. Senoga Ramazan, what about Sheikh Jassim takeover United? Sheikh Jassim, I think I've commented about that. Sheikh Jassim will take over United. When he does, we will confirm it, and will be the first year to come out and break it for you when that happens. What I can say is that keep your notification on. But that is where we are. So guys, football is returning tomorrow after a long time. We are playing Leeds United in Oslo. That game will be at 6 p.m. And we'll be having a watch along here. We'll watch it together as we talk about it, we banter about it. and again, just have an idea of how United is going to look. Of course, most of the players who will play in that one are not players who will perhaps even be on the squad for the entire almost part of the season. But again, just seeing the United team playing is always good, and them playing against a team like Leeds United is a good friend. We've got some good friendlies lined up, by the way, because we've got Leeds United first in Oslo, then we've got to play Olympic Lyon in Edinburgh, then we've got to play Real Madrid. There is Arsenal. That's now in the tour of US. We've got Arsenal, we've got Real Madrid, we've got Borussia Dortmund, we've got Wrexham and Dublin, I think. So we've got some decent friendly games to play during the preseason, and that's why I think it's important if we have all our teams, a full house, all our players in the house. I think it would give us a good test and a good preparation for us to go into the season with our heads high. But let's see how the rest of the week goes in terms of going on to sign players. So Onen is asking which channel. Yeah, we'll watch it. The watch along will be here. I'm not saying I'll broadcast the game. The watch along means me being here watching the game as we talk about it, as you watch from wherever you watch from as well. We just keep talking about the game. That's what I mean by watch along. So be a part of that watch along, and we'll have those for the rest of the season. We'll follow all the preseason games that come in good time for us to be able to follow. I'll try to make sure I get it and be able to watch it. I'm sure there are platforms that will be able to broadcast the game. Look for it as well. If you don't, I'll be here. I'll be here watching it for you or with you. So Web, if we take the EPL and any other trophy next season, do you think the Glazers will sell the game? Will sell the club? If we take the EPL and any other trophy, if we take the EPL, this is very good, nice wishful thinking, and Anolin. This is very interesting wishful thinking. If we take the trophy, wow! But we can't. Why not? We are Man United anyway. But do I think they will sell the club? Look, I don't think the Glazers selling or not selling Man United. It's about them taking or not taking a trophy. Because if it were about that, they perhaps would have never. They have never really wanted to sell United. I think actually when these guys were taking over the club in 2005, that's when they took almost full ownership of the club with their late dad, Malcolm Glazer. I think before he passed on, he told his kids that they should own this club for good. I think it is the one thing they want to own for good with all the businesses they could have as multi-billionaires. But I don't think really them selling or not selling the club would depend on whether we win a trophy or a treble or whatever. I think it's on them entirely. They don't care about United winning. The Glazers don't care about United winning. They don't care about trophies. They don't give one F. They don't care. For them, it's all about money. Now, whether United wins a trophy or not, we haven't won trophies since 2013. We haven't won any single trophy for the longest time, but we are still making a lot of money. So United doesn't need to win the EPL or what to make money. Yes, would we make more if we won it? Obviously, yes. But this is not exactly what we need for us to make money. We've been making money without winning anything. So, and for the Glazers, it's all about the money. So that's why I say, for them to sell or not sell, and this is to reply to you, Anolin, I don't think it's about whether I win or not. It's about them and what they want. If they are satisfied with the money they milk out of the club, maybe they will sell. But if they are not, even if we lose and we are relegated, God forbid, I don't think they would sell, because for them it's about the money. It's not about the football. So they don't care about the winning. Maybe you say, will the Glazers sell if Adidas and these Chevrolet companies refuse to partner with them? Probably, I think if by any chance, and I hope it doesn't happen, if they choose not to sell and they stay around, I think the biggest way for us to go around and force them out is to do things that will affect the business. If people stop going to Old Trafford to watch games, we don't buy jerseys. We use our power as United to go behind and talk to the team viewer and these shirt sponsors not to give United money. Somehow we frustrate them so that there is no money coming into the club. They will run away over that same night. They will just throw it there. They will surrender the club to the first bidder, because for them it's about money. The moment United stops making money, the Glazers will leave. So we blame it on the fact that we support this club so much, and that's why it's able to make a lot of money. And certainly a lot of money means they don't want to move at all. So yeah, that's for me what I think. But I think I've Brian Mann saying Pogba swap deal. Yeah, that was one of the suggestions, that could United swap Donny van der Beek for Pogba. Would that make sense? Because Pogba is available and is cheap. So where would he go? Will he go to Saudi Arabia because they want him there? Does he feel like he can stay in Europe and play some more football? Well, it's difficult to tell. But yeah, that's where we are as Man United. Guys, I think it's been a long day. It's been a long day for myself. I'm sure it has been for you. It's a Tuesday really. It's a busy day always, but it has been slow. The week has been slow, but as expected, I told you at the start of the week that I think to the mid and the end of the week, I think tomorrow and Thursday we'll hear a lot about, especially Onana and all the other players we are linked with. So I think let's take some good rest, and we brace ourselves for what is destined to be a busy rest of the week concerning Manchester United. My name is Webb, guys. Thank you so much. Subscribe if you haven't, and share these links on, so that guys keep watching and enjoying these conversations we have about Man United more as we do continue going on. Thank you so much, guys, from Nigeria. From I think the biggest number of our viewers, I think in Nigeria, they are in Uganda. Got lots of people in the UK. Guys, thank you from wherever you are tuned in. Guys in Ghana, everywhere. We've got guys watching, tuning in from every part of the world. And yeah, that's what we love. That's how big Man United is. We are all over. We are all over. But it's all for the love of this badge and the love of that beautiful club. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of the conversation tonight. Anolin Aliguma, thanks bro for the analysis. Thank you too, bro, or sis. Anolin, some of these names are interesting. Aliguma, I think, is a lady. Anolin Aliguma, I think, to be honest, I know the only Aliguma I know is a lady. She's my friend. Anolin, I've never heard of that name. So Anolin Aliguma, I'm hoping you're a lady. So thank you so much. You're always on, and of course the rest of the guys. I see Brian Mann, you're always on for the lives. Deco Chris, I think I've seen you. Prince Odion, you're a legend, you guy. Senoga Ramanzan, you're an absolute legend. You're always on. I see you. Oneni Colini, I see you always. You are an absolute legend. Pierre Luala, good to see you. I think you're a debutant. You came on for the first time. Good to see you. Toxi, we are always here. Tomorrow we'll be back at 10 p.m. But also subscribe. You're new. I think I've seen you for the first time commenting. And Maureen Kanini, I think I've seen you before. Again, you're an absolute legend. Prince Odion, Deco Chris saying thank you for the updates. Thank you, Pierre Luala, and all the rest of the guys who have been on. Thank you so much for being a part of this live, guys. Let's do it again tomorrow. For the love of Manchester United, football is back. It's a good time to be alive. Have a blessed night. Olivia Muela, you're just coming through. Oh, Olivia, good to see you. Olivia, good to see you. I hope you didn't miss a lot. But you can play back the video and watch. It stays there in the live section. Go in the live section and enjoy the conversation. Thank you, guys. See you when you see me. Bless you.